Hey everybody, Chad Wesley Smith here, bringing you part 3 in our bench pillars series. In parts 1 and 2, we covered foot position and foot pressure and scapular retraction, upper back position. Here in part 3, we're going to be addressing grip width, hand, bar placement in the hand, and a wrist position during the bench press. I am joined by my lovely assistant, IPF World Champion, 3-time USAPL National Champion, and American record holder in the bench deadlift and total, and world record holder in the total. You have so many accolades, it's really a lot to say. You're like Apollo Creed almost. Yeah. Miss Marissa Enda, how you doing this morning?
I'm good.
All right. And so yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Again, as with most of these cues, we tend to try not to be dogmatic in any of our teachings. Of course, there's going to be individual differences for you as you go, but we're sort of trying to find the commonalities between what a lot of great lifters do and sort of let that be your starting point and then make small individual adjustments from there. So as we get into grip width, everyone's going to vary, quite widely by their arm length, their shoulder width, and then shoulder health will certainly play a role in things. But as Marissa lays down here, what we want to make sure to achieve when finding our grip width is that when the bar is on the athlete's chest, that the bar is stacked right over the wrist and the wrist is stacked right over the elbow. So whether we're looking from the feet up, we can see that relationship. Whether we're looking straight on from the side, you can see that the shank of the forearm is vertical. Or if you're looking straight from above, that the athlete's wrist and hand should be kind of covering up their elbow. What we want to make sure to avoid is, if we overly tuck the elbows and the elbows are way inside the hands, if a bit more rare would be to flare too much and have the hand and bar below the elbow. Sometimes you get athletes with an ultra wide grip who may have their elbow far inside their hand. And of course, I'm sure you can go on YouTube and on Instagram and say, well, Chad, I saw, so-and-so benching that way. Yeah, there's going to be exceptions to this rule. We want to just kind of find a good starting point for you. Chances are, whoever you are that's watching, you're probably not the exception to the rule. You're probably going to be closer to the sort of general foundation that we're talking about here, with bar over wrist, wrist over elbow, that stacked position, maybe making a small adjustment inside or outside of that based on your personal preference. Grip width is going to be highly tied together with where the bar touches on the athlete's chest. We're going to get into that a bit more in the next installment, as really bringing the bar down, touching and initiating the movement. The other thing that's going to be important in regards to grip width and that setup is where the bar goes in the athlete's hand and their wrist position. For wrist position, a very common error I see is people have been cued so much to not let their wrist bend back is that they have essentially overcorrected it and bench with an overly straight wrist position. And as you can see here, the bar is almost hanging in Marissa's thumb. We're trying to create the most supportive position as possible, which is going to be Marissa's forearm supporting the bar. So the bar is going to go right through the lower kind of meat of her palm, the lower third of the palm, and a slight cock back of the wrist is acceptable, which is going to allow the bar to sit right on top of the forearm. We don't want it, we certainly don't want the wrist overly bent back where it's hanging at the back of the hand and the bar would be aligned behind the forearm, but we also don't want to be so concerned with having a straight wrist that we cause the bar to be hanging in the thumb and actually be slightly in front of the forearm. So a couple simple things to keep in mind. We want to squeeze the bar as hard as you can. A slight cocked back position is fine to allow the bar to be directly over the wrist, and then find a grip width that when the bar is on your chest allows for the bar to be stacked directly over the wrist and the wrist to be stacked directly over the elbow. One final note about hand position is that if you have a problem with your elbows maybe flaring too early during the lift, is that you're going to focus on squeezing the bar a bit extra hard with your pinky, and that's going to help create a little bit more internal rotation tension in the shoulder. So that's part 3 in our pillars for great bench technique, addressing grip width, hand position, and wrist position. Make sure you check out parts 1 and 2 on foot position and foot pressure and upper back, scapular control and upper back position. Subscribe to the channel and look for the next 2 parts. Get expert program design, video analysis, and guidance for powerlifting and